Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do some crazy stuff. Okay, so let's just dig right in. I got a piano, just basic piano, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a clip, and the whole purpose of this is we're gonna show a way around the limitations of the follow actions. You can still use them, they're great, but if you want to do some other stuff. But yeah, so we got a piano. Let's just go ahead and make some notes. We're gonna make a couple clips here. We'll just do a C, and we'll make it like that. And then we're gonna make two more. So we'll call this C. We'll do this as E. Let's make this an E. Oh, it's an F. All right, and then this one will be G. So we got our G. Where's our G? Where's our G? Oh, there we go. Cool. So now, with the normal follow actions, you know, you can select an individual clip, oops, and do some stuff, but you can also select them all. And we're just gonna have them go in sequence right now. So we're just gonna have it go next. So now if we listen to it, cool. Let's duplicate that. We're gonna duplicate that, and we're gonna make a second piano. Same thing. Let's change the color because we gotta keep that legit. No, that's the wrong color. That's purple. I don't know. And let's make these purple, right? And so let's go make these all a octave higher, right? So you know, select, bam, super quick style. So now if we play these, so now they're running their own sequence, right? Cool. That's just going to the next. So let's do this. Let's take these and make this whole group in piano 1. Let's make them go to any other clip except for themselves. And for the piano 2, we'll go to any. We'll just say whatever. I'm not going to use the secondary actions right now because that's just probability and different actions. But okay, so now we have like kind of this random thing going. It jumps around. That's kind of cool. Nice for creativity and stuff like that. But what I was able to do is because I couldn't find a good way to have basically if I wanted to have piano 1 as it's running its like random sequence trigger piano 2, and the idea of this is just to really push one button and have all these things kind of fire off. So next what we can do, and this is there's some background work with the MIDI driver, and actually here I'll just show, oh, not MIDI. So what you want to do is this thing right here is disabled by default. You want to turn it on right here, and I got to do a little bit more research, but just set it to channel 1 transmit, channel 1 receive. And so what this is going to allow us to do is to have Ableton send MIDI information out and receive that MIDI information back in. And you're going to see what we can do with that is pretty nifty. So now if I make a new MIDI clip and call it trigger, trigger, spell, and we're going to have that trigger other things, but then what you have to do is you have to go into your preferences, and in your IAC input you're going to set remote, which that's going to allow us to map the MIDI information to whatever we actually want. You can have these things mapped to parameters and whatever, but I'm choosing to do it as alternative follow actions. But then on the IAC output you're going to have the track, so it's going to send information out for usually third-party like peripherals or controllers or synthesizers or whatever, and then you can control those with that. But we're going to use it in a different way. So now what we're going to do is let's just pick a track. We're going to make a new one under trigger. We'll just call this 1. And in here we're just going to pick any kind of random notes. And what's nice is that since it's on remote, it's just going to send parameter MIDI. It's not going to interfere with the music. It does kind of interfere if you have stuff that has pre-mapping like launch pads and push and probably other things too, but oh well. So we got our 2 notes. So now if we look at it, it's just going to play, and all these things can launch quicker and do all the kind of stuff that Ableton can do, so I'm not going to cover that. But okay, so we have 2 notes. So let's just, now this is what the IAC driver. So if we go into MIDI, if you've never used MIDI before, you just click on it, and then you click on something, and then you map it, like whether it's a knob, a button, or whatever. But what this does is it allows us to map the MIDI information that the trigger channel is putting out to other stuff inside of Ableton. So we're gonna try to map E3, and with E3, let's play the E key on piano 1. So let's try this. So you don't see anything? Because I forgot something. You have to do your MIDI out to the IAC driver, so that way it can route it and then put it back in. And since we have the preferences already configured, it'll come back in, and then we can do it. So let's try that again. And for now, you can't see it because I'll show it on here, but then as soon as I click on something, Ableton automatically switches the tracks. So let's go ahead and hit play, and we're going to click on here. And then now, the stop, you can see right here, there's a MIDI note. I'm sorry, a MIDI mapping. So now if we go into here and we watch, it should trigger. Oh yeah, it has time. This is the timing and everything. But yeah, so that's a way to fire off our first piano, right? And so it is kind of one trigger to control everything else, not like a sequence that can run and then randomly trigger everything. So there's a level of abstraction above it. But let's go into here, and then on this thing. So let's play. Let's map. Oops. Oh, I messed that up. I totally messed that up. Okay, here. So this is the only thing that's kind of a pain in the butt, is how you have to map things. You have to wait for the note, but since this note is mapped, we don't want to click anything. There we go. So now that's mapped. So what we have... Oh, stop. Okay, here, stop everything. We have 2 notes in a track that's sending its MIDI out to the IAC driver, which then Ableton is using as a MIDI input source. And I'm sorry, it is using it as a MIDI input source, but then it's able to write MIDI notes and map them to trigger other clips. And you can do it to anything, really. But if you do this now, we expect piano 1 to come first, followed by piano 2, with the weird laggy thing. So we have them both active. And right now they're going into global quantizing. But where this can get kind of cool is, so we have those 2 things, right? Okay, let's make another one. Let's go up here, and then let's go up here, right? And what we're gonna do here is we have new mappings. So we're gonna stop everything. And then we're just gonna go and play this, hit pause, right? MIDI. And so now if we hit play, do that, and now if we hit play again, and then we hit this one, it'll map it, hopefully. Yep, mapped. So now we have this MIDI pattern and this MIDI pattern, and this one, fires off a piano, then it kicks off the other piano. Kind of nifty, right? But then you can imagine now if you take these and then do, like, if you here, let's do one more, just because it makes it cooler to see. So let's just, I don't know, do that note, and let's actually just have them do like this. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna map these. So let's click on here, play, mapped. Okay. All right. Kind of gets a little confusing. Okay, so let's play this. Oh, I might have messed it up. Here, let's stop. This is where it gets a little weird, but once you set it up, you can start doing some really crazy things. So let's do MIDI. Let's do that one. I don't know. There. So that's mapped. All right. Well, it doesn't matter, right? So this one's 2, whatever. Right? They're different. Cool. So now we have these different patterns getting applied. But then what you can do is then have the triggers themselves. Let's just do other. And so now these triggers are triggering the piano 1 and 2. And then you know what you can do is you can have another, something like, oh, whoops, wrong thing. Super trigger, right? Which sits on top of the trigger triggering the trigger, which triggers the pianos, which is in random patterns and all this kind of stuff. And what you still always can kind of get is one layer of abstraction where you can push one button and everything fires off and starts to do random stuff, which is pretty cool, and that is pretty wild. All right.